Last year, I feel like if you would ask me whether the iPad Pro 12.9-inch 3rd gen was still worth it, I would definitely say yes. There's still a lot of good things going for it, but here we are a year later, and it sounds like there may be a new, affordable 12.9-inch iPad on the way. So now things are a little bit trickier on whether this is still worth it in 2024. This iPad was first released back in 2018, and you'll notice I typically don't get the iPad Pro versions, mainly because of the extra cost, but you can obviously find this one, especially if you find a renewed or refurbished one. The one I have here is 256 gigabytes of storage, but you can also get the 64, 256, or 512 gigabytes. There's also a 1 terabyte version where you get an extra 2 gigabytes of RAM, so you would have 6 versus only 4 with all the other storage options. The build quality also feels pretty good. It's nice and thin and feels pretty lightweight for such a large tablet. Probably the biggest and best feature of this iPad, in my opinion, is definitely going to be the 12.9-inch LED backlit IPS display. It's got 2732 by 2048 resolution with 120 Hz refresh rate. It's also pretty bright at 600 nits brightness, which is going to be great for streaming videos, playing games, just about anything you do on this. It looks really good in my opinion, and you could probably use this outdoors. Unfortunately, you don't get the fingerprint scanner or Touch ID like on some of the newer iPads, but it does have Face Unlock or Face ID, which seems pretty reliable in most situations. And then performance-wise, it's still sort of crazy that this iPad came out in 2018, but it's right on par with the iPad 10. It's also more powerful than the Galaxy Tab S8 from Samsung. I think the Tab S9 finally passed this last year as far as performance goes, but you get the A12X Bionic chip with 4 gigabytes of RAM, unless you have the 1 terabyte version. That's got 6, and it still does a pretty good job at multitasking or some video editing if you need to. I think it's going to surprise people on just how good the performance is on here, even though this is going on 6 years old. As you can see here by the Geekbench scores, which again are pretty good compared to a lot of other tablets that I've tested recently. It's also going to be nice for playing games like PUBG Mobile and Asphalt 9. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit harder to handle since the screen is quite a bit larger, but this is a really good gaming tablet if you're using a controller. Software wise, this is on iPadOS 17.3.1 as of this video, so it's going to feel very similar to all the other iPads that have came out within the last couple years. You also have the new Stage Manager feature as well, which I know some people like. I don't really use it that much, but it is nice to have, I guess. You can also use the same keyboards from the newer iPad Pros since they're the same dimensions. And then just looking at the other iPads that have got updated, the iPad Pro 12.9-inch 2nd gen was updated to iPadOS 17. So I'm guessing you'll get another year or 2 of updates with this 3rd gen iPad Pro. This one also has USB-C for charging, but you can also use it for external drives, or if you want to connect this to an external monitor or TV, it's going to work good for that as well. And then of course, this works with the 2nd gen Apple Pencil, which is nice. It just charges right there on the side. It's just really nice to have for drawing, taking notes, or moving around the software. Just a really nice option to have. When it comes to battery life, this one's actually pretty similar to most other iPads I've tested, lasting around 5.5 hours at 100% screen brightness. Keep in mind though, this iPad is quite a bit brighter than a lot of other tablets I've looked at, so if you turn the screen brightness down, obviously you're going to get quite a bit longer battery life, but it should easily last a day or 2 with mixed usage. The speakers on here are actually pretty good as well. You've got a quad speaker setup, 2 on each side. It also is going to sound better than the newer iPad Air 5 since that one only has 1 speaker on each side. Here's a quick sample just to give you an idea of what it sounds like.
Tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away, as you fade away.
Now, typically cameras on tablets usually aren't the best, but they're actually pretty decent on this one, even though it's an older iPad. You've got a 12 megapixel camera on the back, 7 megapixel on the front. You can record up to 4K 60 frames per second for video recording on the back camera as well. It might not beat some of the newer iPads as far as camera quality, but still has pretty decent quality even in 2024. So you could use this for Zoom meetings or other video conference calls. Just keep in mind the front-facing camera is on the short end, so not really the best placement. Here's a quick sample of photos and video just to give you an idea of what to expect. So in my opinion, even though this one still is a nice option in 2024, if you're looking for a larger tablet, plus it has decent performance, again, probably similar to the iPad 10, but now that it sounds like there's gonna be a new, larger iPad Air 12.9 inch, I would probably wait to see what the specs are for that and the price, because obviously that one's gonna get longer software support. I know I've got a lot more tablet videos that I'm working on, so you'll wanna keep an eye out for those upcoming videos. So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.